Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, Adam here with Bowhunter Chronicles, back after a little break for Easter. Just want to say thanks to everybody for listening, and if you like what you're hearing, please hit that subscribe button, and if you feel like it, be sure to give us a review. That really helps us out and lets us get in front of more people. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just look for the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast. And also be sure to check out our affiliates, Bowhunter Box Club. Bowhunter Box Club is the only subscription box aimed specifically at bow hunters. Each month for $40, you'll receive about $60 worth of bow hunting related items. So it's like Bowhunter Christmas 12 times a year. They also offer a VIP pass-through club that enters you into a raffle each month where you win great prizes like bows, hunting trips. They've given away a Cam Chef. So all that's available at bowhunterboxclub.com, and you can save 10% by using code Chronicles. And then also be sure to check out Cervicide.com. Cervicide has great deer hunting lifestyle apparel, lone wolf tree stands, trail cameras. They're now a dealer for Tacticam, so you can find all the Tacticam related products. And then they also have a YouTube page, Deer Slayer TV, and they can find reviews, hunting tips, how-tos, and as well as a ton of different hunts over there at the YouTube Deer Slayer TV. And then on the website, if you see something that you like, remember you can also use Chronicles, the coupon code there for 10% off. So just want to say thanks again, and hope you enjoy this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Hey everybody, Adam and John back today with some more story time with Uncle Frank. So we've been spending so much time and energy, everything, getting into this elk hunt. I mean, if you were to come over here right now and look around, there's elk calls and bows and packs and maps and just everything laying around. And for everybody here in the Midwest and most people, I guess sane people, they're starting to get ready for turkey season, and some people are well into their turkey seasons right now. We're getting ready to talk to the guys from Chasing Tails podcast. They're down in Florida, complaining about the weather and the birds shutting up because it's too cold, and it's in the 30s and 40s. So I'm pretty excited to talk to them about that. Really good guys. So if you're not listening to Chasing Tails, definitely go check them out. Walt and Layton are great guys, and they're fun to listen to. But we just want to kind of get into, back to kind of what we started this thing for. We are the Bowhunter Chronicles, so kind of like about the stories and things that we've done along the way for that maybe legacy piece when Uncle Frank's not around to tell his stories anymore, or when we're here. You tell them so many times, and they change over the years. So we'll kind of see if we can get some of them. So we had talked about the hex suits, and still getting those. We're not hunting for another month here, but we do need to get those ordered.
Right.
John was just talking about those a minute ago about for elk hunting of all things.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I got elk on the brain.
yeah, I'm teaching my daughter how to call elk, or maybe she's teaching me how to call elk. But
Yeah, I think she actually might be better than you.
yeah, it's probably
You guys
true.
might have to take her with you.
Well, I have been carrying her around in my pack, so it's definitely part of the training process. But Frank was talking about earlier, before we got the mics going, about kind of getting messed up on public land. So we do a fair amount of hunting on private land for turkeys, just the way that the licensing is set up here. North of us is, for the season that we chose, and the way that it is north of us is public land, or all the whole state of Michigan. But from where we live in south, it's got to be private land. So it's kind of a mix. And the place where I had outlined Frank calling in the turkey and me falling asleep and ultimately shooting, I think, the first real big turkey. That was public land, a little bit north of here, but we were talking about getting messed up. And I was going to kind of save this story for the guys for chasing tails because of, all the outdoor podcasts out there. I love to give Walt a hard time because he's never killed a turkey, and he's really, really going after it pretty hard here. And so I wish him nothing but the best. But yeah, I was out there in that exact same spot where I had killed that turkey, and it's a piece of public land, and it's the road basically dead ends into where I like to hunt. So it's not like I'm going in there way off. I mean, everybody can see, and that kind of ended up the problem on this day. So I was in there on Friday night after work, and just looking, trying to roost the birds, which is something like we don't generally do, but
Not much anymore.
No, they were definitely there, and there was another guy sitting there shooting woodchucks with 22-250 right there, and the turkeys were out there in the field. Went over and talked to him. I said, "You gonna hunt those turkeys?" He said, "No, I just like to be out here. It's public land. The guy's got a gun." I was like, "Well, you go about your business there, bud." But so I went back the next day with my dad, and the turkeys were roosted in a little different spot. I mean, the Tom was gobbling on the roost, and we went in there and snuck in this little fence row and sat down, and I was trying to video it and ultimately messed it up. Well, I thought I had messed it up. The hen got maybe within like 10 feet of me and then started alarm putting because I was moving the camera on her. And my dad was like, I don't know, 30 yards out the other way. I was calling for him, and the hen came right to me. And I thought we'd screwed it up. And so we backed out of there and kind of circled around and got into this little blind. And those turkeys came right back out almost to the exact same spot where we were at in that fence row, which was about 60, 70 yards out in front of us. And he was just strutting there all day. I mean, for an hour. And I got out of the blind, crawled back, and actually called in another turkey from behind us who came right up to us and seen me moving around and took off. And then it was time to go. We had to go to my cousin's wedding that day. So I told my dad, I said, "I'm going to go back there tomorrow morning and kill that turkey." He said, No, you're going to be too hungover. You're not going to make it. So I went out there the next morning, and it was windy. It was terrible. I mean, couldn't hear anything. Got out there, and usually the turkeys are gobbling right on the roost, and I can figure out where I think they're coming from or whatever. And there was nothing. So I went and sat down on that blind and got the camera going, called. I was out there for an hour and a half. It was well past daylight. And all of a sudden, maybe 500 yards out, and I guess how far away is that road, Frank? Would you say?
Yeah. If you're down on the end there.
Yeah.
That's at least 300-400 yards, anyways.
Yeah. So basically, it's this plowed field that the DNR does or somebody, right?
Well, they contract it too. They lease it out.
Yeah, and then it goes right into this the road ends and makes a curve, and then it goes out into some other farm field. So, I mean, there's a road right there. Anybody can see. Then I had the decoy set out and everything. Well, right down there, all of a sudden, I had picked up something black down there on the other side of the road. I didn't have any binoculars or anything, but I had the camera, so I zoomed way in, and it was a turkey. So, all right, here we go. And so I kept on calling, and he kept on coming. And every time I'd call, he'd fan up a little bit and gobble, and he kept coming. And then he got maybe 60, 80 yards across the road, and a truck went by. And I thought, oh, man, but he didn't care. He just kept on walking, and he moved over towards kind of where he was the day before, where he was roosted on the other side, but he's still coming right to my decoys. And, this has taken, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, but the turkey's right there in the open field. There's nothing between me and him and the decoy except for my decoy. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I got him. He's coming on a string. And he gets out there about 80 yards, and he freaking starts to move. Now he's moving like with a little bit more purpose away from the fence row that I was in the other day. And then because of the speed of sound versus the speed of light, I ultimately see the turkey turn and, kind of jolt one way. And then I hear, kaboom! Well, somebody had parked right next to my truck, snuck up that same fence row that I was in the day before, and shot him. Shot at him. It was about 60 yards away from where he was. And I've got the whole thing on video, and I'm going, what? Yeah, there's definitely some choice words on the video. I couldn't believe it. And when I went back home and I watched the video, I can see the guy in the fence row when after he shoots, and the turkey actually runs right to where the guy shot. And I can't believe they didn't cross paths at some point. But I see the guy roll back he looks down at me, and then he rolls back into the bushes. And so, I packed up all my gear, and I went back, and the guy was standing right by my truck. And he's just looking at me. And I said, "Did you see my decoys?" Yeah. "Did you hear me calling?" "Yeah." I said, "Okay."
I'm not your guide, buddy.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any difference on public land.
I said, how far away was it when you shot? 60 yards? He said, "Yeah, about 50, but he wasn't getting any closer." No, he wasn't getting any closer because he was on a string.
Coming to the decoys.
So, I mean, when you're hunting on public land, we had talked to the guys from the hunting public, and, we're all into this elk stuff right now, and we're watching those guys, and they both don't seem to care when they run into people. They just are super, like, humble's not the right word, but they're just, just nice to them. I guess it's everybody's land, but I mean, when things like that happen, that's kind of frustrating.
That's almost, that right there is kind of crossing the line. I mean, yeah, for sure.
But I mean, they take the attitude. Those guys take the attitude of, we're just going to go a little farther or a little, farther away from these guys. That's all.
Yeah. Or use them to their advantage.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
These guys are sitting here and they're, stinking up the woods, and the deer are still going to be moving or whatever. But with a turkeys, it's a little different when you see the whole setup. Obviously, that guy's seen it, and he just cut you off. Is all.
Yeah. Well, he was using me to his advantage.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
you were his guide.
But yeah,
2 days or 3 days.
So did he? He didn't kill the turkey.
No, he didn't kill the turkey. That's the only thing. Like, I kind of take solace in the whole fact is, like, at least he didn't kill it. And I don't know if I would have been any, like, more angry if he killed it. Maybe I would have been at least happier that I would have, like, at least seen the.
Well, if it would have been his first one,
yeah,
I can understand that.
Yeah, and it wasn't a kid; it was a gray-haired man with a beard. And but I didn't say anything to him. I just asked those questions, and those were the answers I got. And I said, okay. And it's a good spot. It doesn't stop me from hunting there, but it's definitely something I take into consideration.
I used to hunt that spot a lot too, and I got sick of all the BS that went with it, because you'd sit there, same thing, and then all of a sudden guys come in, and it's too frustrating to.
You have to change your whole attitude, I think. The more now that I watch these guys, the hunting public, I see a different. This spot has been good for how many years? Forever.
Yeah,
for a lot of years.
Ever. When I was a young man, I used to hunt that. And,
right.
It was always the same. But the thing of it is, now I hunted it this last year, and I went into where you used to go from the east side, walked all the way to the center.
Yep.
And I never saw another person in there, and that was during gun season, you know.
Yeah. Well, like I think one of the last hunts I had out there, which, it's going to happen on public land. It was 2 days. It was the last 2 days of bow hunting. And, so November 12th, 13th,
Oh, yeah, you get around
14th.
gun season.
And I had seen some nice bucks in the spot. And it was quite a walk. It wasn't like a super long walk, but I was off the trail a ways. And so I'm back there, and it's like prime time, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear crunch, crunch, crunch. And I look, and I'm like, oh, man, here comes a clown. And then he had like, I don't know, he had like an old Carhartt suit on, and he's dragging his chair, like what you were saying earlier, and stool. He had a stool. And then I'm like, and he comes, and I whistle, and he sees me, so he walks like another 60 yards and then sits down, and then waits, like 15 minutes, then gets up and walks back out. I'm like, well, I might as well pack it up. It's prime time, and that's kind of, I guess you can get frustrated and quit, or just, try to get deeper, or just deal with it.
Well, but you see that Missouri hunt that the hunting public had, and Zach talked about it. That those guys had the guy get down from his stand,
right, walk over to
him right at prime time, and they could have killed that buck. It just wasn't the one that they were hunting. So
yeah, that guy.
Never know.
That guy knew what he was doing. That was a intentional screw up. He walked over at prime time, trying to be cool about it, whatever. Maybe not. I don't know. That's my thought on it was he walked over and told him how many deer he's killed in there, and blah blah blah. But yeah, back to mine. It was like, so I got out and I walked back out, and I get to my truck, and here comes here comes a kid walking from the other direction, and same thing. He had just got out of the garage with a Carhartt suit on, and it was covered in grease and oil. And he walks up, and his bow, I look in his quiver, and he's literally got 3 arrows, and they're all different, like different size diameters, everything, like 22, 30, an orange and a freaking black one. And literally different heads. and he walked up, and he's like, yeah, my dad was out there. Did you happen to see him? I'm like, was he carrying a stool? And oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, well, we're just getting ready for gun season. I'm like, okay, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I seen him. He should be coming out any second.
Well, there's some. On that same note, there's something really good about that too, because on that same piece of public land, I hunted. I don't know, it was like the second or third weekend of bow season. I knew that there was going to be a bunch of people out there, and I knew the spot that I was hunting was. There are people that don't necessarily go up. This is bow hunting for whitetails, but I had the opportunity. I had 10 come right by me, and I could have killed some does, and there was a spike or something. But walking out, I ran into this family. It was like this little girl, her dad, her brother, and then her uncle. And her uncle had shot one, and she shot her first deer. And so I got to see the excited, first time hunter, getting out there with their family, and just the joy that was in there. If you sit on your own piece of property and you, I guess I look at some of these people that have these deer that are all named and all this stuff, and they're just waiting for this one or this one. And it's, I talked about it before, and it's an ongoing thing that the three of us talk about, is that there's a lot of selfishness in hunting, especially deer hunting. And that's one of the things I've liked about dealing with this elk. It seems like Western hunters are so much more pleasant. You talk to people and everybody wants to help you out. to some degree. But I feel like there's some of these people that sit on their own little piece of property, like Mr. Burns with their little fingers,
Right.
and they're just look at all my deer. These are all my deer. And it's like, you don't get to see that excitement anymore. It's just like a matter of time before I'm going to kill that one or this one. Or
Yeah, well,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've known that. You know, I've been really picky over the years, haven't I?
Yeah, but you at least send an arrow by him to let him know that you're watching.
Yeah, you thin the herd of the mutants.
Yeah. If you know, this is my philosophy. If you were going to wait for them deer to grow up, you know, not out there, they aren't. You know, you get an opportunity, you better take it. You know.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned from Frank long ago is bow hunters, the quote, bow hunters are opportunists.
That's right.
And you got to get an arrow in them.
Gotta get an arrow.
They're like coyotes. That's how coyotes feed, the same way. But
Now, when we were talking about that though with that turkey. Now, didn't you have a situation where you and another guy had shot a turkey, same turkey, and it was who shot it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was actually one of the first birds. That was the first bird I ever killed, I think, or you know, split or whatever. You know, ended up well, and the bird got called in, and I was shooting a borrowed gun because you know it was a 3-inch 12, hadn't patterned it or anything. So one of them deals, you know, and this was a big turkey, you know, and it was. Really a high level of excitement, you know. And at the time, the bird came to us, and I thought he was coming straight in, but then he got over and he crossed his 2-track, and he got up to the left of us on a little ridge there, and I just figured it was time to shoot, you know. And when I shot, he rolled, but then he got up, you know. Well, not being experienced at turkey hunting, you know, I was going to shoot again, you know, and didn't have a real good shot, so I just told the other guy, shoot, you know. Well, he did, and the bird went down, you know. But I didn't think the bird was going to go anywhere really anyways. I mean, he was pretty screwed up. Well, then it ended up later in the day, when we get back to the truck, this thing is 23 pounds, you know, 10.5-inch beard, inch and like quarter spurs. At the time, it was a state record bird, you know. And he goes, well, who's going to take the bird? And I go, well, I didn't think there was any, you know, question about it. I shot him first, you know. Well, you know, yeah, but you know, then I put him down, you know, and I'm going, well, yeah, I told you to shoot, you know. But you know, it was more of a safety issue, you know.
Right.
But anyways, it ended up to a coin flip, and I lost the coin flip, so I lost the bird.
Really?
It wasn't my turkey. Yeah.
Huh.
So that was
So was that the last time you hunted with that guy?
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much a done deal there, you know. But yeah, you live and learn, you know. And like I say, it could have went, you know, either way. I don't know, but I know the turkey would have been dead, you know, if I'd have took another shot. But I didn't. I just let him shoot, you know.
That had to have been like in the infancy, because that doesn't sound like I mean, the spurs are.
Oh yeah, that bird at the time was, you know, like I said, today it's nothing, you know, compared to, you know, inch and a quarter.
Back then,
inch and a quarter. It might have had inch and a half spurs. It was big. It was a big bird.
That's
but it was, you know, nowadays, I mean, my God, we got birds, you know.
Yeah, I posted a video
you know, we were talking about the weather had them affecting these birds. You were talking with your buddy down south. Mm-hmm. Well, we got a spot down the road from my house where how many times strutting this guy's yard?
Yeah, so I posted a video on Instagram, and that was just 3 of them, but there's got to be close to a dozen.
Oh, easily.
And with those big, there's 4 big toms, and there's a bearded hen with them, and I I shot a bearded hen once,
Yeah.
and didn't really know that they even existed.
Oh, yeah.
So I was looking at her pretty hard. I was like,
Well, that's
you're
what
in
Michigan's
trouble.
Michigan's lost is bearded turkey.
Yeah.
It doesn't say tom turkey.
Yeah.
It says bearded turkey. So you can shoot a hen with a beard because they are, there are hens with beards.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know they existed, though.
Yeah.
I saw a beard. I had the camera going, and I thought, well, it's coming right to me. I saw that there was another turkey that had a beard that was much bigger, but I thought, bird in the hand, one in the bush, And I got over there, and it was very small, size of a rooster.
But we were talking about the weather change. These birds have been in this guy's yard every day, this spring so far. Every day.
Right.
And now we got 6 inches of snow. There was nothing in that yard this morning.
They were over there yesterday.
They weren't there today.
When I went home,
Yeah.
they were over there. They were in the back. They weren't in his driveway.
But snow is about the only thing that really affects our turkeys up here. And real heavy rain. Heavy rain will put them. They'll just stand there underneath a tree for a while. But other than that, they're pretty much all over the place.
Yeah, I see them over on the other route, and those birds are crossing the road and they're sitting on the fence. And
Yeah, there's some big turkeys over there too. But it's funny because it's funny to me to think that there's people out there that have hunted turkeys and like maybe haven't seen one or have never called one in, and the fact that Michigan really didn't have turkeys, they reintroduced them,
right?
And they are everywhere.
Oh yeah,
and it's not it's nothing to see. At least where we live, a dozen, 2 dozen turkeys every day,
right,
somewhere between my home and my work. And I work right next to a highway across the street from a hospital, and I've had tom turkeys in my drive-through,
right,
right in the
town.
cement, right in town. So you'd either have to be like in some sort of really rural area or have like a really small amount of turkeys or something. I don't know, because we've got turkeys everywhere.
Right. Well, that's what I think we might have talked about this before, but back when I started hunting turkeys, it was quite the ordeal. I mean, we'd get up 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, have to drive an hour and a half north, and it was like, and we'd spend all day driving around, and,
Right.
We'd try to locate birds, and then back then, that's when we had the time cut off. You can only hunt till like 4 or 4:30.
4 o'clock in the afternoon at 4:30, I think it was.
So then we'd drive around and just scout and look for birds, and it was.
You do that 2-3 days in a row, man. I'll tell you what, you were ragged.
Yeah, but that's what, to me, that was so much fun. Though.
Oh,
I was a teenager, and going up and being up north, and then now I'm living in I walk out my back door and there's a flock of birds walking. You're like, well,
right.
Eating off my feeder.
Right.
Yeah, and so again, back to that can't believe that a 10.5
Right.
inch bearded turkey was the
back
record.
then.
And how many were getting hunted? How many were actually here? And how many were getting reported? But with
that bird actually came probably about 3 miles, 4 miles from your cabin up at Baldwin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But
there's a bunch of turkeys up there.
Yeah.
Back then too, it was a complete lottery, wasn't it? There was no real over the counter.
Yeah, and you'd put in with a partner. You had
up.
Twice a chance.
Yeah.
And it was a draw.
Yeah, because I remember there's years where like I didn't get a tag, or
right. Right.
and so we'd team up and be like, you and my dad got a tag, or
Yeah.
Now, they still have the draw for the early seasons and stuff like that, but then we're like what we're hunting, we got a whole month. We just go buy our tags over the counter.
I think that's the smartest way to do it. Because you have the length of the season.
There's a bit more leaves on the trees.
Yeah, and you run into problems with bugs and but
ticks.
Still, you have to look at it. How many times, even in the last couple days of that season, and we've got birds gobbling and coming in. You know what I mean? I think they become, like when the hens start nesting. You know what I mean? The birds free up. And you get more chances.
And I think they're somewhat easier to pattern because they don't get henned up, I think.
Right.
Or if they are, I mean, last year it was like the last day of the season, and I end up with a shotgun missing. I missed a Jake, but these birds were there in this exact same spot every day at noon, and they were in the middle of this field. So, I mean, we crawled for 150 yards and got on this point and I ended up calling them right over. And then as soon as I clicked the safety off on the gun, they all perked up. And it was just using that Mossberg 500 because I couldn't. I don't remember why I didn't grab the 10 gauge from your house. You were out of town.
That wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah. But I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't.
I mean, you killed enough turkeys with that gun.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So I just grabbed a regular 3-inch Mossberg 500 with just a regular, I think maybe a full choke, and so I hadn't patterned the gun or anything. And they weren't far away. I don't know what happened. I seen feathers and I jumped up and racked another one in, and it was kind of like when me and Chris. When Chris messed up on that big one, but he jumped up and there was turkeys flying everywhere, and pulled the gun up, and the kid who I was hunting with said, "That's not the one." And then by the time I got on the one he said, they had all flown away. So, but it was exciting to say the least. But that was the last day of the season, and then, I mean they're still there. They were still gobbling, answering calls. I killed that bearded hen on the last day of the season, and that was, that same. But it's a lot hotter. There's a lot of leaves on the trees, so that little bit of breeze makes it hard to hear.
Yeah, it was back in the day though when we used to turkey hunt like that was an experience, man. That was the total deal. Or when I take my daughter too, when she shot her first bird, what did she appreciate the most about the whole thing?
Gas station breakfast pizza and coffee with Dad.
Coffee, and we get a donut once in a while too,
But this year is going to be. I mean, last year we hunted with the bows, but we didn't hunt super hard.
No.
So
No.
So you guys have a little bit more of a free schedule than I do. Are you guys planning on getting out there that first Monday?
Oh, I'm in for anything, man.
Yeah, I haven't.
I'll go film Johnny.
Well, you're going to have to call.
Well, I'll call in film,
I'm up for whatever. Just
we've got a pretty good spot, the one.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things too with hunting with a bow. There's a lot more that goes into it because you got to bring the tent.
Well, we'll see with the new hex.
We'll see with the suits. Well,
maybe that'll be our.
Maybe that's what we should do.
The initial tryouts will be just.
Don't take the blind.
Yeah, just set my stool up and get on the edge of that thicket. And
the stuff I've been watching, man, I'm telling you, if it holds true, these guys are sitting in a friggin' lawn chair.
Become what is it? The bow hunting ninja.
Yeah. I'm really a cynical guy. So.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we have a whole month, and like you said, Frank and I have more time.
Yeah.
And we can go try this stuff out. If it doesn't work out.
If it doesn't work, hey, so
no
what?
Big deal. So,
but
with limited opportunity, I mean, I wouldn't want to go and do that. When we're going out to the hunt elk, I wouldn't be trying some crazy shit out there. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I love killing turkeys. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And deer too. But I've shot enough of them to, it doesn't matter if I don't have to kill one. You know what I mean?
Right. I'd like to. I mean, to me, it's getting. I mean, for one, like when we hunted way back with the guns and all that, and did all the, the traveling and stuff. That was awesome. And I kind of lost interest because then all of a sudden there was, like I said, birds everywhere.
Right.
And it was pretty much a given. I mean, not a given, but it was pretty easy. Go out with your shotgun.
To get opportunity.
Get an opportunity. And if you didn't really screw up, you're going to get a bird. Well, then I started hunting with a bow, and that got, it sparked my interest again. And it was like, man, this is, these suckers got to be close, and you draw them back. You got the tent, and
you got to watch it.
And so then, but now with the hex, it's even more intriguing.
Well,
It's
that being said, like right before we started recording here, we were talking about Frank's bow. So Frank is going to have a really hard time because he's either going to be shooting a Samick Sage recurve, or we got to get a cam ordered and get your draw length changed.
I'll shoot that recurve.
yeah, his
Be out
bow,
there with the hex suit
Right.
and the recurve. It's like 60-inch longbow or a 60-inch recurve.
We're not sure if Frank shrank a little bit or the bow grew, or
I don't know what to do
But-
with that.
yeah. After looking at the shooting form and stuff in our leagues, the draw length is a little too long, so we're gonna get him a new cam order, and that's the one. It's a Matthews Helium.
Yeah.
And it's a great bow, but the problem with that is it's draw length specific cams.
Right.
So you have no
modules.
there's no change, and so we're gonna end up ordering a 27-inch cam.
And you may be thinking, well, it's an older bow. There's got to be cams out there.
Nope.
Wait, Frank's left-handed.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So there are cams.
You can buy like 20, 28s, 29s, 27s in right-handed,
Yep.
all day long.
But it's got to come from Matthews for a
So,
left-handed.
yeah.
So we're gonna have to get that ordered, and then I'll build the strings and cables for it.
And that might have something to do with it too. I've never had anything changed on that bow since I've got it. So
Right.
Well,
those strings, that comes with the zebra twist, I'm pretty sure, which is like patented by Matthews, or
yeah.
So we'll.
I'd have to say there's definitely some stretch in that string because it's got a definite buzz when he shoots.
That's just excitement.
Yeah, because you never know where it's going to go. Where the heck? Each shot is an adventure with Frank.
Well,
it's
especially last year
chainsaw.
when I couldn't see.
Yeah, so
At least I can see where I missed this year.
So I actually have quite the lineup of. I really got to get on this. I've been working on these projects around here. I need to get the string jig set up, and we got to get your bow built. We got to get Frank's bow built. Now you got another bow coming.
yeah,
But that one will just be a straight up tune.
Yep. That being said, I bought that Carbon Knight, and John's going to build a new string for it. But we changed kind of the way that we're going to approach that, because we at first thought, well, we'll just have them make a string for it, and then we'll go ahead and show you guys how to tune it and do everything like that. But actually just taking a step back and looking at it.
Right. So what it came, and they had it set up with a different rest and everything. They cut the rest off, or cut the drop string on it and all that. And they just threw it might have been the original rest or one they had laying around. Just threw it on there. So, and we put it on the draw board, and the timing's a little off. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that bow up. We're going to put the rest on it that, you're going to use. We have a couple of them. We have a QAD, and we have a Trophy Taker Smackdown. And so we're going to set the bow up, get it tuned, timed, everything with the original strings and cables. Then I'll be able to mark the cams and go from there. So we'll start with basically a baseline, and then once I build the new strings and cables, then we'll take them off, one at a time, mark the cams, make sure everything's back tuned, and then we'll have a backup set of strings and cables for that bow when you go out west. So, and then we'll have like I said, a baseline, so that we're not just completely, going through the whole thing.
And we'll kind of have a backup
Yeah.
to a backup, because I just ran into a Diamond Deploy SB, which is basically the same bow as that Carbon Knight, in the same configuration. So the bear that I'm shooting is a 60-pound bow, and these ones are both 70. The arrows that I have right now are built for the other
60.
bow, and so they're 300 spine, 350.
350.
They're 350 spine, so it's a little under spine for 70 pounds, especially with the extra weight up front. So I've got another set of arrows that I'm building anyway, so this way everything will be interchangeable.
Right. It'll be basically just a swap out.
What arrows did we get for Chris?
The same ones that I'm shooting right now, the 350 spine Black Eagle.
So he'll have
Outlaws.
He'll have.
See, that's the thing too. Like your Black Eagles, the spine as you go down, it gets stiffer. Where on some of the arrows, I'm not sure which brands, but
Carbon Express is
as you go up, it gets stiffer. So,
right.
like my Carbon Express, I shoot the stiffest one that they make, the 350.
Yeah, but the Easton's is like 250 is their
260 are
260.
the new ones
Okay.
I just ordered for my Western hunt. So those are super stiff.
Yeah. So
Have you guys decided what heads you're going to shoot yet?
We're working on. I have the Muzzy Trail cars I'm going to test out, and I'm going to probably end up ordering some of the slick trick standards, which are 4-blade.
Yep. And I think I'm going to order a set of the Tooth of the Arrow. I'm pretty intrigued by those. And my dad he's always been a 4-blade shooter. He switched, with the, I guess the increase or the development of all the technology with mechanicals. He was against them for years and years and years for the jackknife style and all of that. Basically, the way that kind of everybody was at the time. And then they started to get better and get better. And he went to those, but I don't know. He's a little particular sometimes. And he was saying, with the rages, they have a little bit of a rattle to them, and I'll agree with that. And the clips, he says, every time you take them in and out, the clips pop or something like that. And I can see all of those things, but so worst case scenario is that they're going to get used. He would like to try some out, so I'll get some of those and shoot them and see.
I'm also, I'd like to try the VAPs too. Yeah. After seeing Green Tree's thing, and we were talking on one of the previous podcasts about the whole 2-blade thing, but we're shooting Rage, and those are 2-blade. So, and maybe that does explain, because there's been times where I've shot deer and they're a good kill shot.
What was that deer you shot in Ohio?
That was with the Rage, the original Rage, and that was a terrible. Blood trail. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure I was going to watch that deer fall down and end up going over the hill and dying, but we didn't find it until the next day. It was, and I was like, man, and it hit right behind the front shoulder. It was quartering to me a little bit, but it was still, I didn't get in the guts. It was just back, and it was a perfect shot. But
I'll tell you guys, for years we shot thunderheads. And I'm telling you, we kill a lot of deer with them.
Yeah, when we were talking about
they flew good too.
The broadheads, that's exactly what I said. I said, Idaho's fixed blade only, and I said I know that I can get a 125 grain thunderhead to shoot, but I think the technology's changed a little bit.
Look, the slick tricks I've shot the Muzzy Trail cars the year before last, and then Jet shot him this year, and he didn't end up killing a deer, but they fly great. They fly real good.
What'd you shoot that doe with this year?
I shot with the hypodermic, or the Trypan.
Okay.
That was pretty devastating.
Yeah. Different shot angle too.
Yeah. Frontal shot.
Mine was backle.
Yeah.
Well, mine ended up being in the back. She ducked as I shot, but
it was crazy though. That one I shot with the size of the hole, the entry hole is amazing on them heads. And that was with a Trypan. And
so, what are you going to be using for turkeys?
Probably the heads I'm shooting. I don't know.
Those are the Trypans. Are great. I'm gonna pull out the monster.
Johnny's gonna probably try and head shoot him, but I'll shoot him on the wing butt.
Well, I might even set up Jet's bow again, like I did last year, because now he's 5'10", and his draw length's I could pretty much set it up for me to shoot. And it's a nice little light bow, and then I could shoot him with the.
And he's got that Infinite Edge.
Yeah, he's got the Infinite Edge Pro.
And that goes to 31, 30?
It goes to 30. I'm pretty sure 30, 70 pounds, and it's a great shooting little bow. And I put it on the Smackdown rest, and he's got HHA sight, so upgraded the components a little bit, but it's a great shooting bow, easy to tune. And like I said, I had those Magnus bullheads shooting really good out of that. My bow, not so much. My bow is a little bit too fast for
I'm
it.
going to shoot those Dead Ringer Super Freaks.
Yeah.
That'll do some damage to a
But with the
turkey.
turkey, I mean, you don't need to shoot 70 pounds,
No.
especially my draw length, 31 and a half inch draw length, the way I had it set up. That's a lot of bow just to kill, for a headshot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of broadhead flying through the air. And any little tweak and, torque in your wrist, that's going to be tough to keep that thing flying straight. So maybe if I built one of those arrows like that get some of the 4-inch fusions and do a 6 fletch. But yeah, so I also have that big crossbow head that's 4-inch cutting diameter. That would be kind of going back and forth. It's like 160 grains.
Well,
Wow.
Well, last year, John was shooting really well in our league, so I would say head shoot him all day. This year...
Yeah, I
don't
struggled with some target panic. Well, not some. I had one good night, really.
And you shot actually outside of the one where you shot real consistent good. You shot better with the silverback.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The silverback, I didn't shoot, our scoring rings are 15, 10, 4, and 2. And on the small game league. And when I was shooting my regular release, which is the Carter Wise choice, I ended up punching the trigger. I'd shoot it like a 15, and all of a sudden shoot a 2 or miss the whole target. I was just, couldn't get the fire or whatever, and panicked and just couldn't hold on it. And then the night I switched and shot the whole round with the silverback, I didn't shoot as many 15s, but I didn't shoot any 4s or 2s it was all in the kill zone. It was 10s and 15s, so it was way better. I could hold the pin.
Consistency was better than shot.
Yeah, I wasn't, I was off a little bit,
Right.
but it was all within the kill. I wasn't shooting any, crazy shots like completely missing the duck at 7 yards, a foot over its back, or shooting through the.
I tried to
Yeah, I was
explain
shooting
that
low.
to you guys, years ago when I used to shoot target all the time, you don't realize mentally what happens to you after a while. The better you get, the worse it gets.
Well, that's
as far as your mind trying to tell you,
that was the
when
thing.
to shoot.
I never, up until this year, I've never really struggled. I've always been able to hold the pin and steady. And then I don't. Maybe it was just after reading articles and listening to all the podcasts, and it got in my head. And man, I'm sitting there, and I had all kinds of confidence going into the season in this league. And I was like, "Whoa, that was a kick in the gut."
Yeah, for me, I don't really know. I shot almost like exponentially better this year than last year.
You shot great.
You shot real good.
Well,
this year.
but
really good.
But the thing is that like I don't know. I mean, I probably shot like 40 to 50 points higher every week than I did last year. And like my worst week this year was higher than my high week last year.
Right.
Now I did upgrade my bow and focus a little bit more on form, but
You upgraded your sight though too.
I did. And that probably had a lot to do with it. But I still felt like I wasn't shooting as good as I could have. And that's what I find is funny is like
there was a few, bobbles.
Yeah.
But
and and one thing I learned from Frank like long ago shooting is like I think, we're nowhere near like expert shooters or like, you know, anything like that. But I can generally tell you like where the arrow is going to go before it hits. Like if I may, when I make a shot that feels like a good shot and it doesn't go where it's supposed to, then I'm surprised. But like a lot of times if I'm starting to collapse or I was still moving up or whatever, I wasn't like locked in, like I can generally tell where it's going to go. You know, when I feel like I make a good shot, that's what's more important to me than really where it goes, because generally at that point it's going where I aimed it, you know.
Right.
But the sight, yeah, probably. I mean, I would probably like a smaller pin, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing. I went to last year I shot the HHA with the 10,000th pin, and shot pretty good. I mean, and then this year I switched over everything. I went to the AccuStat with the 10,000ths blue, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I could not see the pin unless I had the light.
Well, that's a really good point. Okay, so for regular dudes who are looking at what site do I want to buy, or you look at this because you go dive deep.
Right.
You have more money in batteries for that site than.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the site, if you order the light for that AccuStat, it's $30. Well, then the batteries die. I mean, they don't last long at all. Maybe 4 hours or something. And so if you accidentally leave it on, and that's one thing too about it, is like it's just that little rheostat twist on the end. I've bumped it or put it in my bow case or just bumped it, and it's
So once it's on, it's
turned on and it stays on, and
Yep.
then they're dead. And then you go to buy the batteries. Well, if you go like Walgreens or like our local grocery store, Myers, they sell them, but they're $5.99 or $4.99 a piece. So you end up spending, buying 3 batteries. You got $18-20 just in the batteries. You can almost buy another freaking light.
How long have I had my Apex? 2 years?
You bought it last year.
Last year.
So
Yeah,
a whole year.
Year and a half. Yeah.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. You can turn that sight on,
Right.
and that sight shuts off after an hour.
Right.
And I've hunted 2 full seasons with it.
Yep.
And I leave it on the entire. If I sit all day, you know what I mean. My sight's on all day.
Right. Well, that's got a micro LED in it.
Yeah.
So it's not shining on anything.
Right.
So there's very little current, or that doesn't.
But it amazes me that thing.
Yeah, that's great. Where mine, it shines through the housing, the scope housing,
Right.
onto the filaments. But that one thing with that, there's just not enough fiber optic wrap on that sight. So one thing, it's not very bright. Go outside and it's fine. But I'm also shooting a blue and it's a 10, so yeah, it's going to be a smaller, lighter dot than the bright greens.
And why did you go with the blue?
I wanted to try the blue. I didn't want the big bright. I mean, like I said, outside it works great, but inside not so much. I was tempted on buying one of the Target LED, but they're like $150, but they have rechargeable batteries and they shut off and they have different brightness, and it just screws into the back, and then you just either zip tie it or Velcro it right on the side of your sight bracket. But yeah, actually this for this league, my best score I got there and my batteries were dead, so maybe that just helped with my target. I was focusing on my
Trying to see the pin?
No, I was focusing more on my shot process and everything, and just in that night it felt awesome, and I ended up shooting like a 394, which was I think
Out
the
of
high
what, 420?
Yeah, the highest score in the league was a 395, so I was 1 point behind that. But then the next week I shot like a freaking 300. It just fell apart again.
Yeah. That's archery, man.
But yeah, and the other thing too last year I did a lot of shooting in between, like throughout the week, I was always flinging arrows. And then this year, I've been busy working on projects and stuff, and the weather was real crappy, and I pretty much didn't do any shooting in between, and that has a definite effect, especially if you go out, on our Wednesday night league, and I'm like, man, I shot like crap, and then you don't shoot anything in between, and you show up, that's like stuck in your head. The mental part of it, like, man, I shot like crap last week, but I didn't do anything in between to try to fix it. So,
well, and also you were switching around your arrows and all sorts of different things, so your tape wasn't exactly.
Oh yeah, my tape at the beginning of the league, I was just switching over from my hunting arrows to my indoor arrows, and yeah, my tape was off, and then I don't know what happened. Maybe my cable stretched a little bit or something with my tune. But that's the thing too. Last year, I was messing with my bow pretty much every week. I was doing something, and I was shooting it. And so it was always, I had more confidence because I was like, I know my bow's on, so it's on me. And then going into this, I had to mess with my tape and my.
Yeah, it ended up being like a scapegoat or like a crutch. You're like, oh, well, the tape's off, so
right.
I don't even know where they're going. So
but yeah, it was on me. It was definitely. I could not hold my pin on the kill zone.
So we got about a month from tomorrow. That's when our turkey season starts.
Yep.
So I'm gonna need John to build me 2 bows, and Frank's got to get his new cam. So John's got 2 sets of strings to build, 3 tunes,
possibly 4.
Yeah, and then Jason's.
Yeah, Jason's is no hurry. I don't think he's even gonna turkey hunt. And if he does, I can still get him set up. But just a matter. The only thing one of the things that's a drawback for I have everything here except for a bow press, which that really hinders me. When you're starting to build a string and doing all the stuff, it's really nice to be able to do it right here all in one.
So if you were going to buy one, what would you buy?
I'd probably end up just getting the Last Chance, like the Easy Press. But the X Press, I think would probably be the best, because that one you don't have to change the fingers, or like with the Last Chance archery, you have like the regular fingers, they're like aluminum with rubber coating on the end, and those are for most of your traditional style bows or without the beyond parallel limbs. But then when you go to the Hoyts, like my XXL, you have to use the special fingers that slip on, and they have like almost
Do
like
they come with all those?
No, that's the problem. You have to buy the Hoyt adapters or the parallel limb adapters separate.
Really?
And they're like $230 or something for just those. So
because the Easy Press is only like $350, right?
it depends. They have all different. They have easy. They have the green, the gold, or whatever, the deluxe, the power. I mean, you can spend all the way up to like $900. If you get like the pro version with I think they might even come with those now. But you're talking almost $1,000. So
there's no press that takes care of every bow.
Yeah, the X Press.
The X Press.
Yeah.
The X Press.
That'll do them all.
That's got the wheels, and you adjust. It's all adjustable.
That'll do your Hoyt then too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, how much is the X Press?
That's about $800 without a stand and stuff. So
you're looking at $300 and some bucks for the other press, and then $250 or $300 for the the fingers. That's for one bow.
What's nice about the X Press also is that it's got little clamps. You put the bow in it, and you can push it out, and you can work on your bow right there.
Yeah.
Where with like the Last Chance, you don't. It's holding it by the limbs.
It's holding it by the tension.
Oh.
So
basically, you put it in one side, and then you wheel it down over here, and then it.
Yeah, you hold the bow. You get it up in there, and you hold the bow and crank it, and then it starts to compress the limbs. Where the X Press, you put it on, you put it in, and it's got little fingers that come out that are adjustable, push button it, and then it clamps the bow into the press, and then it's got 2 rods that come up in the cross or the X. That's where it comes to X press, and it's got 4 wheels, and the wheels are on a threaded rod, and so you can adjust the width with the wheels. So that's, you know, if you got a real narrow bow like your Carbon Knight, you got to wheel them in tight, or if you got the wide like the New Hoyts or the Matthews Halons with that real wide limb, then you can wheel them out. But then and there's all kinds of videos out there on how to set them up for each bow and stuff like that. So, and even with the Last Chance, but it's just, I could build one. I could easily build. I could go down to Harbor Freight and buy a trailer jack for $50. It's a heavy duty. It looks just like the Easy Press, the main body of it. It's got adjustable length or height. But then I still have to have the fingers. So if I could weld some square tube on it, you know, build the U shape. But then unless I have someone that can machine me some fingers and all the stuff, I'm going to be spending $240 on a set of brackets. But I guess that would still be, I'd be under $300 then, building it myself. But
maybe it's something we ought to look into then.
Yeah, for sure.
You definitely need a press here. You know?
Yeah, it's not practical to be driving back and forth, especially when we want to do. We want to film it.
Right.
We want to get it on film, and
you want to do something. We're right here in the shop. You know?
Right. So it'd be really nice to be able to mount it right here on this one, the carpeted bench, and then be able to work on it, and then have it's way nicer to be able to serve your string and do all the stuff right on the jig, and I can get it super tight. You don't have to worry about. So I can pull the string right off. Especially on the Hoyts, it's a pain in the butt to try to reserve your center string or your center serving with the zero torque cable guard. It's right in the way. And you can pop it off, but that's, it's almost just as easy to throw the bow in the press, pop the string off, throw it on the jig, stretch it out, reserve it. So.
Yeah, well, that's something that we're definitely going to have to look into then.
Yeah.
I'll get looking into it.
I'm sure you will.
I'm kind of the guy that comes over with all the stuff. Hey, I got this. Hey, I got that. Got one of these. It's showing up on this day. So.
Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff on our order right now for the out trip. So I got game bags coming, some new camo I got to check out. And
so.
Still got to get the tents ordered.
So coming up, we'll have a little bit more gear. But like I said, for this one, I just wanted to, I guess, kind of back into the turkey Midwestern type type hunting. We're going to be talking here with the guys from down south, from Chasing Tails here in about 2 weeks. Next weekend is the end of their season. So we'll get the full recap on their turkey hunt, and hopefully we'll be able to seal the deal.
Sorry. We'll also have the guys from Death by Archery. They're actually down on a hog hunt right now in Georgia. And so Ben Freed,
Mark Medema,
Adam
Ingweiler.
We'll have those guys on, and those are some local guys from this area, and we'll get some good stories from those guys. So I'm looking forward to having them guys on.
Yeah, they've got a pretty cool deal. They've got an apparel company that probably has one of the coolest logos for their business. It is really cool. So I mean, if you guys you can Google Death by Archery and
check them out on Facebook.
Check out that.
They actually they have some really cool arrow wraps. They're like 10-inch white ones, so you could trim them down, or
Yeah, Chris was talking about those.
But yeah, I might even build those. Might even use those for my elk hunt.
Cool.
This next set of arrows.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to talk to those guys, and they're a good bunch of guys. I know Mark pretty well. So, and then Ben.
Yep, went to school with Ben. So.
Yep. So those are good guys.
That's Craig's son.
Yeah, Adam. He was the son of our local archery shop here called Angler Archer for years. I grew up with Craig, so his dad.
So yeah, we'll be talking to those guys, and I'm getting my brother to get his crew rounded up to talk about their trips. They go out whitetail hunting out west, South Dakota, Nebraska, and as far as like messing up things, my brother missed we talked about it when we were talking about John tuning his bow poorly. That my brother missed what he says is a booner. So, and it's a really good story. They had 2 kills. I think they had 4 or 6 guys go out there. 2 guys were successful, and then my brother
should have been
a couple times. But yeah, that's what we've got coming up here, and we're getting ready for turkey season. So I think that's pretty much all we've got for today's episode. All right.
Good.
We'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Shut up and sit down.